it varies according to the individual. Somebody might respond to one stimulus, another person might respond to it very differently. And why it happens? It happens because there are overcrowding of the thought in the mind. Now this overcrowding of the thought makes you unable to take the decision, and that is why problems are occurring. Can give one simple example. Now I was coming from Mulund by train, so because of the raining the trains were coming late. So I was waiting at the station. So train was coming late, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So since I know because there is heavy rains, there waterlogging might have occurred, so train must be coming late. So I said, okay, let it come, then I will go ahead. But somebody might, what he will do? He will start talking. What is this Central Railway? What people they are doing? I am getting late. I have to reach at 3:30, but train is not coming. Then I will be delayed. He will start muttering with him own. Third person, he may start talking loudly. What these Central Railway people are doing? They are getting payment. We are paying from our tax, and they are not coming in time. What these motormen are doing? Reaction. Then third person, what he will do? Moment the train comes, he will go and hit that motorman. Now the first person, he will think that it is nothing to do with the motorman, because if he gets signal, then only he can drive the vehicle. So he is not at fault. Then why signal is not there? Because some other train must be in front of it. So all these things, if first person thinks, then he will not give any bad reaction or vigorous reaction. But the fourth person, he will pick up a stone and throw it to the motorman. So these are the different anger. These are the four different reactions of four different people. Now same stimulus, that train is coming late, but four people react differently. Why? Because their mind is sound. He is able to take the decision. He is able to think about this, that there is nothing wrong with him, so we should not beat him, or we should not make a target of motorman. So he is able to take the decision. That is why he is sitting quietly and waiting for the train. Another person he is not able to do. Third person, he is still more angry, so he throws a stone. So this is the different type of reaction. Another example, you are appearing for exam. The person who has studied well, he is not at all under tension. So 10 o'clock exam is there, he will start at 9 o'clock. He will go to the hall, sit, chit chat with other people. When he will get the paper, he will start writing. The person who has not studied, what he will do? If I get a question from the part which I have read, I will be able to answer. If I get something else, I will not be able to answer. So then mummy will ask me, what you have not answered? You are studying for a whole month, but she doesn't know that I was not studying, I was wandering here and there. So then my thing will be exposed. So what happens, the person who has not studied, that is usually we say, all of us must have experienced. When you are going for exam, 10 o'clock you have to start for paper at 11 o'clock. The boy who is under tension, stress, what he will do? You are all ready, you are getting your car ready to go to the exam. He says, wait, I will go to toilet and I will come back. He will go to toilet and again 5 minutes will come. Why? This is called tension diarrhea. Why this tension diarrhea? Because these thoughts are going in the mind. I have not studied well. Now time has come. If I answer well, good. If I can't answer, I will not get good marks. So this tension, all these thoughts, they stimulate the pituitary body, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, and from there different hormones are secreted. These hormones, they go and act on different systems of the body, like respiratory system, cardiovascular system. So they start functioning more. So similarly, when they go and act on the intestines of the digestive system, there is a intestinal hurry. Movements are increased, peristalsis increases, and that is why he gets called for toilet and he rushes to the toilet. So this is tension diarrhea. Somebody is appearing for exam, he has given exam, now tomorrow result is there. Like last week 10 results were declared. So if I get good marks, I will get admission to the good college. If I get admission to good college, then I can go for medical or engineering. If I don't get good marks, then all my things will be exposed, that I was not studying for whole year. So this is stress. Suppose you are working in company, you have been given some targets, you have to achieve that. If you don't achieve the target, there is a hanging sword on your head, any day you might be sacked. So he is under tension. But the person who is well equipped with all these things, no, I know what is to be done. Suppose they give me 10 things to do in 1 hour, I am expert, so I can finish it in half an hour and I can be free. He will not get under tension. But who has not studied well, who doesn't know the technique properly, he cannot complete 10 cases in 1 hour, then he will be under tension. So this is the stress. Now this stress leads to the stimulation of the hypothalamus and pituitary gland into the brain. These secrete different hormones. When these hormones are secreted, these hormones, they go and act on respiratory system, cardiovascular system. Now suppose you are standing here and that 26/11 there was a riot and all these things. So suddenly there is something going on wrong, bomb blast is there, so I have to run. So what you will do, you start running. So your respiration will increase, your heartbeat will increase, your muscles are working while you are running. But moment you come out of the danger area, then you are settled, you are quiet, your respiration comes to normal, your heartbeat comes to normal, you are okay. Suppose similarly, second time again somebody tells, "Hey, there is some bomb blast." You are far away from the place, but still your pulse increases, your respiration increases, start what to do, I have to go there, either. So this is because of the emotion, because of the thought which you have experienced in the past, and this time only thought will make stimulation of the system and they will activate it. So this is psychosomatic disorders. Psycho means these are all thoughts. Now you are away from the place, you know that you are not near that place where bomb blasts occur, so nothing is going to happen to you, but still last time you have experienced that, so suddenly it starts. So first time stimulation is given to respiratory system, respiration will increase, heart system, heartbeat will increase. After you are away from the place, everything is normal. Second time again this thing happens, again heart rate increases, pulse rate increases, and if this keeps on happening again and again, what happens? Your system gets deranged, and then some disease starts in the system. That is called psychosomatic disorder. How a person leads to the disease because of the emotional changes. And these psychosomatic disorders, so total health, which is at the physical, mental, social and spiritual. So this mental health is this health because of instability, because of the crowding of the thoughts, you lead to some of the diseases, and that is why these diseases, they don't have any permanent cure. Like suppose you get a viral infection, you get a typhoid, you get a malaria because of some organism. So you give the treatment to kill those organisms, you are all right. But when this is psychosomatic, something is happening here. There is no organism, there is no bacteria, there is no virus. But you are sitting quietly and just you remember that last time's incidents, what happened that time in 26/11, I was there, and then suddenly this happened. Suddenly all your system get, and then you get all this effect. So this is, now this thought, you cannot stop it. So there is no medicine for that. What medicine you give? We give some depressant, and then he sleeps. Moment he gets up, again all thoughts comes. Now why this stress has come? In olden days the stress was not there as much as we are facing in the current era, because the days have changed. Why? Because of the modernization, civilization, urbanization, mechanization. All these people, they have become like a machine. Suppose somebody is working, I think last time also I gave an example, somebody is working with some machine for 20 years. Suppose he makes a mistake, by chance his hand goes into the machine. Does that machine say, no, he is my good friend for last 25 years, we are working together, he made a mistake today, so I will excuse him, I will not bite his hand? Does it happen like that? No. He gets crush injury and we have to amputate the hand. Why? Because mind hasn't got the mind. Machine hasn't got the mind. So that is why this is happening. Though in current era, because of the mechanization, our mind has become like a machine, and we are not having any sympathy for anybody, so that we can excuse somebody. But what happens? We see on the road some small things happen. There is a lot of quarrel, and ultimately sometimes we find that there was a murder. Why this happens? Because our mind has become like a machine. Then fast life, nobody has got time to think, or nobody has got time to think of your colleague, neighbor, because you have to catch train, you have to rush to the office, you have to fulfill your target. Once you fulfill your target, you have to reach home, your children are waiting at home. So all are running in a race. Fast food. The food has changed. Again I repeat, the olden proverb was, कम खाओ खूब चबाओ यही है तंदुरुस्ती का खजाना. लेकिन आजकल वी हैव मॉडिफाइड द proverb. व्हाट यू से, खूब खाओ कम चबाओ यही है फास्ट फूड का ज़माना. And that is why we are getting different diseases, because if you are eating the proper constituents, if you are chewing it, masticating it properly, giving proper time for digestion, you don't get any digestive problem. What was told in the past? एक घास 32 समय चबाओ. Bite the one this 32 times. But now we whole of the lunch we finish in 32 bites. So what is the importance of biting it, chewing it? Because it mixes the saliva very nicely. It forms a nice bolus, which is the first step of digestion into the stomach. But we are not doing it. So at all levels, half of work is done. In the machine, suppose a car is made, different parts. At all parts, suppose some fault remains, again it is sent. Okay, next I will do. Next part also there is some damage. It is not completely done according to the notification. What will happen? Ultimately the car which is this part is faulty, this part is faulty, this part is faulty, and such car when it comes on the road, it makes accident. Similarly, if our digestion is not proper, you get digestive problem. So then mad race, because we want all modern things. Colleague has got a Maruti 800, so I should have at least Honda City. So to get Honda City, I earn more. So to earn more, you work more, and in the process you forget about your health. Then because of the modern thing, pollution has come, new lifestyle, no exercise, eat more, work less, excessive mental tension, loss of mental peace and mechanical mind. Hurry, worry, curry. All these corporate sector boys, I do conduct the medical camps in corporate sectors, IT sectors. So I found that the boys in the age of 25 to 35, 30% of the boys, they were having blood pressure, they were having diabetes. Why? I think yesterday's paper it has come in Lok Satta or Times, I think. There will be 5-fold increase in the number of diabetic patients in India in another 10 years. Why? Because ours is a developing country. And it takes time to cope up with the modern situation. And that is why we are getting all these diabetic and these diseases. Hurry, worry and curry, target, work more to remain in race. In the corporate sector, government service, there is no problem. Once you get a service, till retirement there is no problem. Suppose you don't work properly, what will happen? They will transfer you to some other place, but they cannot terminate you. But in corporate, if you don't work properly, if you don't achieve the target, next week you are at home. So, so that is why there is a hurry, worry and curry. All the time worried whether next month I will be here or not. So he keeps on saying, then he gets tension, then to get relieved from tension he starts smoking. Then somebody good friend advises, take one peg of whiskey, all tension will be relieved. So he indulges into the drinking. So smoking, drinking, so that will give you to acidity. Now because you have to achieve the target, you sit in the office for a long time, so there is no timing of your lunch and dinner, sleeping, resting. I have seen so many boys going into the office 8:30 sharp. that time is fixed, corporate office. And what time you come, I don't know, might be 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30. There is no fixed time. Why? Because whatever work has been given, they have to finish it in the same day. So they keep on sitting, so that all times are disturbed. Sleeping time, eating time, resting time. 11:30 he comes home, eats, then go to bed. Again 5:30 gets up because he has to go to office at 8 o'clock. So there is a physical exertion. What is the need of the body? What are the things? Air, water and food. What is the priority? First is air, second is water, and third is food. But in the modern days, what you have done? We have reversed it. We have given more importance to the food, then little water, and air we are not bothered about it, because it is coming automatically going in, and when it gets obstructed, then only you come to know I am not able to breathe it. Till that time you don't know, you are taking air in. So this is the thing happening. So what are the things which are coming out of this? Another most important thing, urge to earn more money and physical inactivity. Everybody wants money without any effort, without any easy money. That is why all these scams are coming up. And then what you get because of that? Then this junk food.
Pizza, burger.
DRDO, this is one of the institute which does the research. Dr. Abdul Kalam is the head of it. They have given 2 times into the paper that pizza and burger, these are all useless things. They are junk food. You should not eat it. They can give rise to blood pressure. They can give rise to increase in cholesterol, leading to heart attack. But nobody bothers about it. You will see a lot of people crowding in front of McDonald's, Pizza Hut. So many times it has come in the paper that this Pepsi, Coca-Cola, it is not good for health. But so many people, they are still drinking. So can't help it.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah. That's why what you get, high blood pressure, obesity, mental stress, diabetes, heart attack. All these are stress-prone diseases. And these stress-prone diseases cannot be cured by any medicine. All these diseases, once you get it, you have to take tablet lifelong. If you forget, finish, everything is over.
You have forgotten. You have forgotten.
Now what are the things once important for this acidity? You get burning pain over here, then if it is here, you might get vomiting. The complications, you may get ulcer. Then next is the diabetes. You can sit here. Second is the diabetes. Diabetes is again stress-prone disease. What are the general symptoms? So many times it has happened that diabetes and blood pressure, people don't come to know. That is why I am just giving what are the early symptoms that you should know. Suppose at the age of 35, 40, you get tingling numbness over here, or you get some loss of sensation, or you get repeated urinary infection, or suppose you get some abscess and it is not healing, or you get repeated abscess all over body, then think whether I am having high sugar. Because so many times it has happened about blood pressure and diabetes that I am all right, but suddenly one day somebody is found, he has fallen down, he felt giddy. Then he is taken to the hospital, his blood pressure is checked, 200/100. He said, till yesterday I was all right. His blood sugar is tested, it is 400. Why? Because body has got a natural resources which try to cope up with the change position, change stress. That is why though the sugar is increasing, though blood pressure is increasing, body is trying to manage it, and that is why you don't come to know. When it becomes to the extreme end, that time when you fall down and then my blood pressure is high. Suppose you take a rubber and you try to stretch it. Up to this it is okay. It is one single rubber band. You stretch it more and it breaks into 2. Then you say, till now it was okay. Similarly, till that time your body can cope up, it copes up. When it cannot, then you suddenly give way, and then you find that you went to go to the doctor and your blood pressure is tested and it was 200/100. Your sugar was 400 fasting, and postprandial 500.
What is this retina involvement? In the bigger sense, retina involvement? Causes.
One more thing, diabetes is one disease which can affect any part of the body. Means, suppose it affects the vessels, you get high blood pressure. If it affects the heart arteries of the heart, you get heart attack. If it affects the kidney vessels, you get kidney failure, so you have to go dialysis. If it affects the retinal vessels, you get retinopathy. You get blood vision, blindness, all these things. And if sugar goes very high, you go into coma. So diabetes is one disease which can have effect on any organ of the body, and that is why it is dangerous.
Or any disease, diabetes.
Then next is the hypertension, that is blood pressure. Now normal blood pressure is 110/70, systolic is 110, diastolic is 70. Now according to age it varies. Suppose you are 60, your systolic 160 is normal, but diastolic should not be above 90.
160 is normal.
Pardon?
160 systolic.
For age of 60.
Age of 60 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
60 mm.
This is normal. Yeah. But this should not be above 90. Because then if it is above 90, in between 90 and 100, that means you are borderline. And above 100, that means you are stamped as a,
But that 160, if it is the continuous reading, it's
doesn't
okay.
matter. Yeah, no problem. At the age of 50, 150. If you are 80, 180 is allowed. There is not a high BP. Then the causes is that mental tension. Then other causes are also there, but we are not going to talk on that. Then next important is the heart attack. Now heart attack, it is also called as ischemic heart disease or myocardial infarction, unstable angina. These are all nothing but the heart attack. It is short form ISD, MI or unstable angina. These are all heart attack. Now what happens in heart attack? Because the vessel of the heart undergoes spasm, so less blood flows through it, and that is why you get heart attack. Causes mainly mental tension, the first most important. Can we treat mental stress by medicine? No. But can we treat mental stress without medicine? Yes, and that is by yoga. And that is why the importance of yoga. And that is why it is said that this current era, 21st century, all these tension prone diseases, they have got only one answer, and that is yoga. I always tell, we have forgotten the holistic approach. Sages have written this yoga for us about 5,000 years back, but we have forgotten. But what modern medicine has done? Modern medicine has divided the human being in multiple pieces. Each piece is treated by separate specialists without knowing what is happening with the other piece, and that is why the problems are occurring. But by practicing yoga, you can keep your all systems effective and good functioning, and you will not get any disease. Dr. Larry Dossey, a cardiologist, he has said that yoga is India's gift to the world, and for which entire body of humanity should be grateful. Western people, they are following yoga, but Indian people, they still know, hey, what you are telling, you have gone to moon and Mars and then you are talking about old things. We are not ready to accept the importance of yoga. Yoga, before that, last time also I said, human body is a wonderful human body. The heart and lung, they are like a non-stop pumping set, eyes like a camera and projector, ears like a sound system, stomach like a chemical laboratory. Whatever we eat, pizza, burger, everything, it is digested by the stomach. Then nerves like a miles of communicating system. Mind is an unparalleled computer with infinite capacity. And greatest thing is unbelievable coordination amongst all of them, and yoga tries to maintain it. In an office, suppose you go, if one clerk, suppose your file has to go to 5 clerk, you go to first day, oh, that file is with him. Second day you go, file is with him. He says, I have not received the file. He says, I have sent it the file. Where is the file? You don't know. There is no coordination in it. But our body has got coordination, because these vessels contract, blood comes to the heart, it is pumped to the lungs, At the same time, externally air is taken in, oxygen exchange occurs. This purified blood goes to the heart. Again, it is pumped to the all different organs and the functions are occurring. They are not saying, I don't know that oxygen has come or not. I will wait and see. This thing is not happening. So this coordination is there. Now, little bit about, before going to the different yogic kriyas which are going to help you in stress management, I will give little anatomy and physiology. This is the brain. This is, here is situated hypothalamus and thalamus and pituitary body, and this is medulla oblongata, and this is the spinal cord. This has got different systems: sensory, motor system, autonomous nervous system and memory. Important is autonomous nervous system. This system controls the involuntary things. What are the involuntary things happening in our body? Breathing, heart beating, digestion of food, formation of the urine and fecal matter. These are all happening without our knowledge. So these are involuntary. And the functioning of the involuntary system is done by autonomous nervous system. And autonomous nervous system is governed by pituitary and hypothalamus. And the emotion, stress, they go and act on hypothalamus. When they disturb hypothalamus, they disturb all this system through autonomous nervous system, and the effects are seen as a psychosomatic disorders. Now this is not a mystic yoga. I'll just correlate it. Sages, when they have written the book, they have told about these different chakras. They are not imaginary. When they have written book, they said that here is Ajna Chakra, here this is the chakra. Is it imaginary, or sages, they have come to our operation theatre, they said, doctor, you take rest today, I will do cutting and see whether the chakras are there or not. They are there in our body. We have seen and we have correlated it. This is the Mooladhara chakra, which is situated at the anal opening. From medical point of view, it is called pelvic plexus. This is medical depiction, and this is the yogic depiction. You see how many dal? There are four branches. The Swadhisthana chakra near pubic symphysis. This is called aortic plexus. This is medical depiction. This is yogic depiction. There are 6 branches or 6 dal hai. Manipur chakra is near umbilicus. It is called solar plexus. This is medical depiction, and this is yogic depiction. There are 10 branches from yogic point of view. Anahat chakra at the center of the chest. It is cardiac plexus. This is medical depiction. This is yogic depiction. There are 12 branches. Why I am telling you to stress on this, I will tell at the last picture. Then this is the Vishuddha chakra, which is situated at the neck. Medical depiction is not shown. It is called cervical plexus from medical point of view. This is the yogic depiction, and there are 16 branches. And at the center of the forehead, it is called Ajna chakra. It is called optic thalamus or optic chiasma. This is medical depiction, and this is the yogic depiction. How many branches are there? There are 2 branches. And how many branches here? 2 branches. The previous one which I had told, 10 branches, 12 branches, 6 branches. From yogic point of view, sages were knowing the branches. So they are corresponding with the medical branches. So if they say there are 6 branches, there are 6 branches from medical point of view. Such 6 chakras, they are there in our body. This is the vertebral body. This is the chain of these chakras. From here different nerves are coming out, and they are supplying different parts of the body. Now suppose somebody says, yesterday I had gone to the party, so I had lot of chicken and all this. So morning I didn't take breakfast, I took little lunch, and night I might skip the dinner. Where is the problem? Problem is here in the stomach. Somebody has got asthma, he has to use pump, inhaler. Where is the problem? Problem is here. Somebody has got heart attack. Where is the problem? Is in heart. Somebody has got kidney dialysis. Kidneys are not functioning properly. Where is the problem? Problem is here. Means if any one of these organs is not functioning properly, you are called sick. If all these organs are functioning properly, you are not sick, you are healthy. When they will function properly? When the control is proper. When control will be proper? When all these chakras are controlling properly. And to activate these chakras, we are doing Omkar. When you do Omkar, how we do? We breathe out first, then breathe in. Western people, they have done the research. The vibrations because of this Omkar, they activate all the chakras. They are functioning properly. The control is proper. All organs are functioning properly, and you are healthy. That is the importance of the yoga. Then which kriyas I am going to give stress? One is Omkar for the stress management. One is Omkar. Then another is Kapalbhati and Ujjayi. So how is going to affect, that we'll see. So before going to the Kapalbhati, we should know little bit anatomy of the respiratory system. This respiratory system starts from the nose. This is the trachea. It divides into two at the center of the chest, and these are two lungs. The trachea divides into two at the center, and these are the branches, and ultimately these are the alveoli. There are 7 crores of alveoli. These alveoli, they are lined by inside by mucous membrane, which secretes little water. This water, when we are breathing in, that air, if it is dry, it is moistening that air. These alveoli, they are lined from inside by cilia. These are hair-like projections. They are called cilia. What is the function of this? Whatever air you are breathing in, whatever dust particles are there into that, they are obstructed over here. They are thrown out and not allowed to go in. So this all passage remains clean. So this important work is done by cilia. Impure blood comes from here, air comes from here, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs, blood is purified, and the purified blood goes back to the heart in this way. Now you are sitting quietly. How much air you are breathing at a time? You are breathing 500 ml air in and 500 ml air out. Suppose you breathe in heavily, you can breathe in 3500 ml air. Suppose you breathe in heavily and breathe out heavily, you can breathe out 4600 ml air. This is called the vital capacity. This much the air we can breathe in. So this is the capacity of the lung. But when you are sitting quiet, how much you are breathing? Only 500 ml air. Means 1/8 of the capacity you are using. Suppose you are breathing in normally and breathing out, your lung never become totally empty. At least 2300 ml air is there. Suppose you breathe out heavily, still 1200 ml air is there. Means our lung, they never become empty. Air is there, and with each respiration there is exchange of air. Now suppose a person who is doing sedentary job, who is sitting at a hotel counter and collecting money, what he will do? He will just breathe in 500 ml air in and 500 ml air out. Now to such a person, if you tell, go and run up to Vitti station and catch the train because this is the last train. If you miss it, you will have to sit at the station for whole night. So what he does, he starts running. When he starts running, he feels breathless. Why this happens? Because when you are running, your muscles are working more. When muscles are working more, it requires more oxygen. Now how it will be fulfilled? If your lungs are breathing more. But these lungs, because this is a sedentary jobber sitting at a hotel counter collecting money, so his alveoli, it is only opening up to 500 ml air in and 500 ml air out. Now he is running, the demand has increased, but alveoli, this we are not habituated, we cannot work more. So we have to fulfill demand. So what you have to do? You have to breathe in heavily. That is why you become breathless. So if you want to avoid this, you have to train your alveoli in such a way that whenever you require more oxygen, they will open up more, you can breathe in more air, and you will not feel breathless. And this capacity we can achieve by doing different yogic practices. Now another thing, in the stress, most of the time you get acidity. If you don't have blood pressure, if your blood pressure is normal but you have got only acidity, you can practice the Jaladhuti. What you have to do? You have to drink water. How much? Akanta means it should come right up to throat. Drink so much water, then stand like this. Then with the 2 fingers you tickle the posterior pharynx. Whatever water will come out, let it come out. It will help to reduce the acidity. Now how it is going to help? Suppose you have taken 8 to 10 glasses of water. This is to be done in the morning. When you brush your empty stomach, you have brushed, then you sit down like this, drink water, it is a lukewarm water, little salt is added, and go on drinking till the time you can drink. When you feel that it is now full up to here, then you stand up, put your 2 fingers, little bit tickle the posterior pharynx. Whatever water comes out, it will help. How it is going to help? This 8 to 10 glass water will come over here. It will dilute the acid. Once it is diluted, the nuisance value of the acid will reduce. Now what we are doing? We are vomiting it out. So it will not remain here. If it is not remaining here, it will not cause any acidity, it will not cause any gastric ulcer or duodenal ulcer. So this relief you get by doing Jaladhavati. Now this is mainly for acidity, but it has got other side benefits also, because if you have taken 10 glasses, all 10 glasses will not come out, only 6-7 glasses will come out, 3-4 glasses will go ahead. It will clean all these intestines. If all intestines are clean, their function will improve. What is the function of intestine? To digest the food. So your digestion will improve. Some of the water will go ahead and there will be more water content into the fecal matter. If the fecal matter contains more water, it will not be hard. If it is not hard, you will not get constipation. If it is constipation, because of the hard stool, when it comes out, it rubs the mucosa and you get bleeding piles. So you will not get that problem also. Now some of the water will get absorbed in the small intestine. From here it will go to the blood. Blood will come to the kidneys. Then kidneys will say this is excess water. It will filter out. Because it is filtered out, there will be excess urination. Because of excess urination, because of the pressure of that water, whatever small debris are there in that passage, they will be thrown out. If they are thrown out, they will not remain there. If they don't remain there, you will not get stone problem. Now we operate in the hospital. So we remove the stone. So we remove such a big stone. Now has this stone become of this size in one day? It was small mustard size. Slowly it goes on increasing size. Suppose you are doing regular Jaladhavati, because of the excess urination, because of the pressure of that water, the small mustard size stone will be passed out. If it is passed out, it will not remain there. If it is not remaining there, it will not become big in size and you will not get stone problem. So these are the benefits of Jaladhavati. Then Kapalbhati. Kapalbhati, we do breathing techniques. You have to breathe out, then breathe in. What happens? You are breathing in air, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Whole passage will be cleaned. The dust particles which are entangled into the cilia, they will be thrown out. So cilia will become free. So again they will be active to entangle the dust particles in the future respiration. Since the dust particles have been thrown out, now you get some disease, viral disease, cough and cold. Why? Because of some organism. Where are these organisms? They are in the dust particles. So suppose you are doing Kapalbhati, whatever dust particles has gone out in last 24 hours, if you do it in the morning, they will be thrown out, so they will not remain there, they will not get fixed over there and you will not get any respiratory disease. Now the rainy season has started. So another 4 or 5 days what will happen? People will start getting sneezing, cough and cold. Suppose somebody has got cough and cold. If he comes and sits next to you, what you will say? Hey, sit little away, don't sit close to me, otherwise I will also get it. But does it happen like that? That if he comes and sits next to you at 10 o'clock, you will get cough and cold at 12 o'clock? No, you get it after 2 days. Why? Because these organisms, they go in our respiratory tract, they multiply. When their strength increases, they attack and you get the disease. So this is the time period from the contact to the symptom. That is incubation period. Now this varies with different organisms. It may be 6 hours for one organism, 12 hours for another organism, might be 24 hours for some different organism. If you are doing Kapalbhati every day, whatever organisms have gone in last 24 hours, if you do Kapalbhati in the morning, they will be thrown out before getting fixed over there and you will not get any disease. So this benefit you get by doing Kapalbhati. Then Ujjayi. Ujjayi is a friction breathing. Like we do. Because of this what happens? Because of the friction, heat is generated. Because of the heat generation, whatever cough, sometimes you say he has got chronic cough and that expectoration is not coming out, it is stuck inside. Why? Because it is thick. If you are doing Ujjayi, because of the heat generation, it will get liquefied. When it gets liquefied, it will come out easily. Your bronchial tree will open up. You will be having no problem in breathing. So this benefit you get by doing Ujjayi. This is also called cardiac breathing abroad, because they give this breathing for heart patient. If you are practicing Ujjayi every day, you will not get heart attack. Now, when you are doing Ujjayi Kapalbhati, you are closing your eyes and concentrating on it. We try to count it. Suppose you are doing Kapalbhati, we tell you do it for 100 times. So when you are doing it, so you are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you are counting, you are concentrating on counting. So external thoughts are reduced. When the external thoughts are reduced, your blood pressure will come down. Because what is stress? It is a overcrowding of the thought. When there is overcrowding of the thought, it stimulates pituitary, it stimulates hypothalamus, your blood pressure rises. But when you are counting, your thought process is broken up, your blood pressure comes down, and if your blood pressure comes to normal, you will not get heart attack. That is the philosophy behind it. Now, asthma. If a person who is having asthma is sitting at that corner, you can realize from here he is an asthmatic patient. How you realize it? Because when he is breathing, the wheezing sound is coming. Why this wheezing sound is coming? This is the inner aperture of the trachea and bronchus. But in asthmatic patient, because of the swelling, it has become of such small size. Now when he is breathing air, because of the atmospheric pressure, this air goes in through this small aperture. But when this air is coming out, breathing out, that air hasn't got any pressure. So to come out through this small opening, he has to rush, and that is why the wheezing sound comes. Now if he is practicing Ujjayi, this swelling will go and he will not have to use any pump or inhaler. So this is the benefit of doing. I have tested with medical point of view. The pulse oximeter is a machine which we use in operation theatre when we are operating. We apply it to the finger of the patient and we measure the oxygen level in the blood. Normal oxygen level in the blood is 100%. I have tested in about 300 people and I have found the normal people it was 97, 98. After 3 months it became 100%. In heart attack patient it was 95, 96. After 3 months it became 98%. And the asthmatic patient it was 85. After 3 months it became 96%. So this 11% rise in oxygen, that gives health. Because all our organs, what is the petrol required for heart and lungs and digestive system? Is it the batata vada and samosa and rice and dal you eat? No, it is the 100% oxygen. And this 100% oxygen you can get by practicing Ujjayi. Shavasana. Shavasana is meant for keeping your mind cool. You lie down and you try to concentrate on different parts of the body. You try to relax the body. So what will happen? Now you are lying down and you are concentrating my hand and say relax the hand totally, relax the hand totally. Then you move to other parts, slowly you go on relaxing all parts of the body. When you are concentrating on the parts of the body, your external thoughts are reduced. If external thoughts are reduced, your stress is reduced. Then Tratak helps in concentrating. Again what will happen? You sit here, this is a lamp. When you are concentrating on lamp, your total mind is concentrating on the flame. When you are concentrating on that flame, again your external thoughts are reduced. So that will help to reduce the stress. Then Gayatri and Omkar. Omkar is meant for the way, Gayatri is meant for the way you think you become. Suppose I say what you are looking like Amitabh Bachchan, he will stand up and he will start telling some dialogues of Amitabh Bachchan, the great actor. Suppose you say, pray the sun that let me get the power like you, you become like that. And that is the philosophy behind the Gayatri. And Omkar is to keep your mind thoughtless. You are all sitting here. You have been told that the lecture will start at 3:30, but I arrived only at 3:40. Then everything was arranged. Then you came up. Then we had a discussion, and then we started. So around 3:50 lecture started. Now 3:30 to 4:30 is time. Now he started late, so he will finish late. I have to go somewhere. You might be thinking that I have to catch the train at. Suppose this lecture was supposed to get over by 4:30. I was going to catch train at 4:40. Now he is not finishing, so I will miss that train. Somebody might be thinking that I have to go to the Mantralaya, I have to see somebody at, I have taken appointment, I will come at 5 o'clock. Now he is still not finishing. So different thoughts must be coming in your mind. Yes or no? Yes. If you say no, I will say you are lying. Because the speed of the thought is more than the speed of the light. And what is the speed of the light? 1,86,000 miles per second. In seconds, so many miles, and beyond, more than that is the speed of the thought. And that is why it is very difficult to control the thought. When your thoughts are disturbed, as I told you, that when emotion is hitting the pituitary, your respiration gets changed. You start breathing fast. Now because of the modern era, you are not able to control your mind. But we have found then when mind is disturbed, your breath is disturbed. So if you control your breath, you can control your mind. And that is what the importance of yoga. So for that, Omkar is given. Now what happens by doing Omkar? Your mind becomes thoughtless. You know that cardiogram is taken. Similarly, there is electroencephalogram taken of the brain. It was seen when you make your mind thoughtless, alpha waves are generated. Your mind is cool, your pulse rate is normal, blood pressure is normal, heart rate is normal. But when you are overcrowding in the mind, beta waves are generated, your pulse rate increases, respiratory rate increases, heart rate increases. And if this keeps on happening again and again, you are labeled as a patient of blood pressure, and then heart attack comes and meets. So to keep your mind thoughtless, because science says that you cannot keep your mind thoughtless for more than 6 seconds at a time. Suppose you are awake for 16 hours in a day, 10% means maximum 1.5 hour you can keep your mind thoughtless if you try to do it. Otherwise, you are always thinking of something, and then something is making the problem. Now by making your mind thoughtless, belief system is activated. Healing system starts functioning, means our body resources, they start functioning in such a way that your body heals on your own without any medicine. But for that, you have to make your mind thoughtless. And that is why Omkar is given, to make your mind thoughtless. Because when you are chanting Omkar, you are concentrating on Omkar, so external thoughts are out, your mind becomes slowly cool. Now what is this belief system and healing system? Initially, if you are studying human anatomy, we will tell that body has got respiratory system, cardiovascular system, digestive system, excretory system. But there is no belief system and healing system. What is this? Suppose you feel sick, you fall sick, you go to some doctor, your regular doctor. But suppose you find that he has gone out of station. Then what you do? You go to some next doctor, you take medicine. But you are not happy. After 3-4 days, again you are passing by there, you find that your regular doctor has come back. So you go to him, Doctor, good, you have come back. He said, why? Oh, I was not well for 4-5 days. You are not there, I went to that next doctor. But I am not happy. Now you have come back, I will become alright. This faith is belief system. And to activate this, Omkar is given. Another thing I remember when I was studying in MBBS, first year, we used to do dissection. We have to see all the parts, we have to dissect. So before completing dissection, sometimes we used to ask our sir, where is brain? So he used to show, brain is here. Where is heart? Heart is here. Where is kidney? Kidney is here. Last 35 years, every day I am operating on some part of the body. If you ask me, where is mind? I don't know. I have not still found. Where is mind? Here. We don't know where mind is. And that is why it is said, behind every disease there is a cause and no drug can reach that cause. हर बीमारी के पीछे कोई तो कारण होता है और कोई भी दवा वहाँ तक पहुँच नहीं सकती. वो क्या है? वो मन है. And to set right this mind, there is no medicine. If you take a patient to psychiatrist, he will give tablet, that is a depression, so he will go to sleep. Moment the effect of the tablet is over, he will again say, where am I, what I am doing, what are you, all the chakras they start. So to keep your mind thoughtless and keep yourself healthy, this is the best way. Another thing, when you go to some friend, they used to tell him, suppose he is ill, so you go and give a courtesy visit. So after taking tea and everything, then when you are starting, what you say, don't worry, you will become alright. Make your mind firm. Man khambir kar, matlab kya hai? He is having chest pain. He was admitted in the hospital 10 days back. He has come home and he is taking rest, and you are meeting him. Then he is thinking that my neighbor was also having chest pain last year, and then he was admitted for 10 days. After that he came home, and after 1 month he died. His age was 47, my age is 48. What will happen to me? So this is bad thought. So to get rid of this bad thought, you have to make your mind thoughtless. Or sometimes when you working in some office and somebody is under very tension, now I have to do this, how can I will be able to do it or not? Then what you say? Don't worry, I am there, I will help you. When you say I will help you, then now I can manage. So this courage you can get by doing. This will give relief from bad thoughts. So when the stress has to be reduced, you have to reduce the bad thoughts. You have to reduce the overcrowding of the thoughts. And this process can be done by doing different yogic kriyas like Omkar, Gayatri, Kapalbhati, Ujjayi. If you practice this, you can keep your mind thoughtless. These are the endocrine systems in our body. Here is the thyroid, then parathyroid, then this is hypothalamus, pituitary, then this is the pancreas, adrenals, ovaries, testes. These all organs, they secrete hormones. Now these hormones, when they are secreted, they go and act on target organs. They tell, come on, work more, work more. So emotion acts on the pituitary and hypothalamus. When it acts on this, it sends message to all these endocrines to secrete more. When they secrete more, they send more message to the end organs, work more, and that is why you get jumbled and worried and all the psychosomatic disorders. So to get rid of this, you have to make hypothalamus and thalamus cool, not receiving many impulses, not receiving many messages, not receiving many overcrowding of the thoughts, which can be done by cutting thoughts, by reducing it, by practicing different yogic kriyas. Stable mind, no irritation, normal respiration, pulse rate is normal. When your mind is unstable, you are irritated. Suppose you are in the office, your boss and your subordinates, they all come to your office and say, what is this? I have not got salary. Now it is the 7th. What is date today? 10th or 9th? 10th. I have not got the salary. I have to pay the fees today. Yesterday 12th results have come. I have to pay fees to first year BSc or BA or medical college. When you will give pay? Another will come. I have taken only 2 days leave. You have cut my pay for 4 days. If all these people, they come and jumble at you, what you will say? Oh, get away. I am getting disturbed, irritated. Why? Because these are different thoughts. Everybody is telling and shouting on you. So these different thoughts, they make you unstable mind. And then what you say? You go away. I will take a decision after 10 minutes, because you get irritated. So when you get irritated, when the condition goes out of your control, your breath starts more. So you start breathing more, fast respiration, pulse rate increases, acidity increases, and disease arrives. So to get rid of this, the best treatment for heart attack, because it is one of the stress prone disease, don't take anything to the heart. That is the best treatment, because small things, if you take it to the heart, suppose you tell your child, come on, give me that book, I want to read. And child says, why can't you take yourself? Go and take your book, I am going to the class. So what you say? Kya ladka hai? I have made him grown up, I have taught him, I have given him education, now he is earning, I have retired, so he is telling me, go and take yourself. What a child is. You get irritated. But if you say, okay, he is not giving, okay, he might be busy, he has to go to his class, so he is getting late, so okay, I don't have any work, I will go and pick up the book. You are not disturbed. But if you start boiling, what is son? He is not doing one simple thing also for me. Your blood pressure goes up, pulse rate goes up. So best thing is, don't take anything to the heart. There is don't be under tension. The moment you are in tension, you will lose your attention. When you go under tension, your attention is lost. Then you are in total confusion. You don't know what to do. When all these people, they come in your office, they start showering the questions. What you say? You are confused. and you will feel irritation. This may spoil your personal relation. When you get irritated, sometimes you might just talk something wrong or abuse, and then you might spoil your relation. Ultimately, you won't get any cooperation. If you tackle the situation properly, all these workers, they will give cooperation. But if you abuse them, throw them out, go out, talk something, that they will not give cooperation, and things get into complication. Then your BP may rise, and you may have to take medication. If your blood pressure goes up, you have to take medication. Why not try understanding the situation? Try to understand the situation. All these people, they have come, they have got some problem, they have not received payment. So right, they are having problems. So try to understand, try to console them, and try to think about the solution. Try to find out the solution. Now that person's son, he has got 12th standard pass, he has to apply for different colleges, all the people are running, they have to pay the fees, so they require salary. So think from that point of, try to find out solution. Many problems will be solved by discussion. If you just shout at him, go, get lost, you will not solve the problem. But if you talk to them, make them sit, talk, what is the problem? Oh, you have to pay. How much money you have to require? Okay, that we'll try to find out something. Many problems will be solved by discussion, which will work out better in your profession. Because if you work properly and tackle the situation properly, you will be known as a good boss. Otherwise, हमारा boss ना बहुत cranky है. Don't think it is my free suggestion. It is only for your prevention. If you understand my intention, you will never come under again tension. So this is one of the, I got somewhere, so I just brought it for you people. In the cardiologist conference in about 10 years back, they said that in coming era, the time is going to come when the people in the age of 25 to 30, they will die because of diabetes, blood pressure and heart attack. WHO, World Health Organization, they have given a notification about 10 years back that after 20 years, means by 2020, a time is going to come when people will die because of diabetes, blood pressure, heart attack. There will be 6-fold increase in heart attack in the urban area and 3-fold increase in rural area. What is going to happen? They have told modern medicine. This modern medicine is more perfect, which is telling what is going to happen after 20 years, or the yogic science, this is more perfect, which has told 400 years ago what is going to happen after 400 years. The same I am going to tell. This is the quotation. रे मन धीरज क्यों न धरे, रे मन धीरज क्यों न धरे, सवत 2000 के बाद ऐसा योग परे. One of the sages, he has written about 400 years ago that a time is going to come after 2000, means now it is 2013 going on. पूर्व पश्चिम दक्षिण उत्तर 14 काल फिरे, means there will be death toll increasing like anything. The people will, at the age of 25-30, they will die because of all these modern diseases. काल व्याल से वही बचेगा जो हंस का ध्यान करेगा, सोहम का ध्यान करेगा. He said, you will only survive out of these diseases if you try to control your breath. And that is why the science of controlling breath is nothing but yoga science. यह है हरि की लीला, टाले नहीं टले, ये तो होने वाला है, लेकिन यदि हमें उससे बचना है तो we have to control your breath. This is going to happen. This is the modern era. This is going to happen. But if you want to get relieved from that, we have to control our breath. Or the person who will control his breath, he will not get this problem. So that is the importance. And this was told 400 years ago. That is why the importance of yogic kriyas. And so try to cultivate good habits, because if you get into the habit